It's been nearly 2 months since I started posting here to YouTube. And in that time, I have made immense progress in my self-improvement journey. And I can attribute that to two things. One, maintaining consistency. And two, having accountability in order to maintain that consistency. By posting to YouTube, it has changed something within me because having that level of accountability where I know that I'm going to be sharing my experiences here with you, it's changed something in me to the point where I don't want to ever go back to any bad habits. I second guess going back to them. In fact, this morning I had a craving actually because I was feeling really stressed. I was working way too much and I started feeling pretty stressed. So I was like, you know what, let me just go on Instagram and start scrolling. But I didn't do that. I had the thought, and I haven't had that thought for a while, but because I was feeling stressed, tired, a little overwhelmed, it made me want to go back, but I didn't do it. And I believe that one of the main reasons is because I knew that I would have to share that here with you. Now, of course, I don't have to, right? I could just pretend like it didn't happen. But inside my mind, I would know that I wasn't being truthful and I would have to share that. So the fact that I was aware of what's going to happen, that there would be a consequence to it, it made me stop and think. I didn't do it. And I think that's so important for everybody to have. You need to have accountability. Because if you don't have accountability, it's easy to just convince yourself that it's okay. It's just a small thing. Whatever it is, whether it's social media, whether it's video games, whether it's eating junk food, it doesn't matter what it is. It's so easy to convince yourself that it's fine because you're coping. But you see, when you tell somebody else, I'm going to make this change, I'm going to change my life, I'm going to go on this diet, I'm going to cut out video games. When you share that with somebody, you become a different person because now you need to uphold that standard because you don't want to go back on your word, because what would that make you, right? What would they think of you at that point? Now, of course, you could say, try and convince that person like, oh no, I got to do it because of whatever reason. And even if they say like, okay, whatever, do what you want, you know in your heart that you're going against your own word, and they know that you can't stay true to your word. And that, even though they won't share it with you, they're going to look less upon you. They're going to see you as somebody who can't stay true to their word, someone who doesn't have integrity. That's not what you want. But what you do want is accountability, because when you share it with somebody, whether it's somebody in person or online, whether you're in a community, whether you're sharing it in YouTube videos, in a journal, something, when you have accountability, you will not want to go back on your word because there's that little bit of pressure to perform. There's that little bit of pressure to not go back. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I'm saying the amount of growth that I've had just within these last 2 months. I'm telling you, it's because of this. Because I know for a fact that I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to share my experience. I'm going to share when I have mistakes, ups and downs. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to start this channel. On top of the fact that it's going to help somebody else, it's going to help me. So it's somewhat selfish in a way, and I'm going to just tell you that out in the open, because by doing this, I'm telling you, it is helpful. And you could do the same thing. You could start a YouTube channel. You could do whatever you need to do to make sure that you can be accountable. Because I gotta admit, before I did this, it was so easy to start lying to myself, start coping. Not all the time, but every once in a while it would be like, you have one of those rough days and you start to cope and you say like, it's okay, you don't have to do it today. Just get back on track tomorrow. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's an excuse that you're telling yourself. It's like your own brain is fighting against what you want. You ultimately want to make these changes in your life. That's why you're doing this. And that's why you need the accountability. So that you don't go back on your word. Try and think to yourself right now, what could you do? What's something practical that you could do? Maybe you don't want to start a YouTube channel. That's totally fine. But is there somebody in real life that you could talk to? Do you have a friend? Do you have a brother? Do you have a journal? Right? Maybe you don't have the people around, but if you have a journal, you could still hold yourself accountable in that way, just by writing something down or saying it aloud. Just by recording videos or recording voice memos without even posting. There is still a level of accountability there. Maybe not to the level that I'm doing here, sharing it to YouTube. But I'm telling you, just by doing that, you will want to stay true to your word. You won't want to go back. But you absolutely need accountability if you want to make progress. And you will change the trajectory of your life in doing so. Now, in the beginning of the video, I was mentioning two things, but that's because they're both combined, right? We have consistency and accountability. Consistency is number one, because if you're not being consistent with what you're doing, the habits that you're trying to implement, well, there's no reason to have any accountability, right? So that's step number one. But the whole point of this is, once you start building up that momentum, that consistency, now you need to take it to the next level. And that comes through the accountability. So important. And I would often just not even think about, I just stepped in the snow here. I was thinking about the accountability before as something that I never wanted to do, because it's tough, right? Especially if you're trying to get someone else involved, right? You don't want to do it. That's exactly why you need to do it. If you could just get past that feeling, once you do it, there's nothing else to think about, because now they know what your goals are. You know, another thing I just thought of as well is you should write out your goals and put it up on your wall. So that way, if anybody else comes in the room, they will see it. That's a good thing. For a long time, I never wanted to share that. I never wanted to put it up publicly at all, right? Even in my own room, because it's like somebody would come through, see the goals that I had on the wall, and it would feel a little bit like awkward at first. But I've realized actually by doing that, it's helped me to push through and reach those goals a lot faster, so much faster. I'm telling you, it's through accountability in whatever means necessary for you. There are so many different methods. I'm just sharing a few of mine. But you need to figure out something for you, something that's going to work, that you could do today. Don't think about it. You need to do it today. So decide on something. What's it going to be? Are you going to record journals, like voice memos? Are you going to do video? Are you going to write it down? Are you going to write out goals and put it up on your wall? Or are you going to speak to a friend or a family member? You have to do something. If you walk away from this video right now without taking some sort of action, this whole video that you just watched will have been a complete waste. Ideas don't change your life. It's implementing the ideas, taking action on them. You can hear a great idea, but if you don't do anything about it, you know nothing's going to happen. You know for certain right now that if you're watching this right now, you're watching this long, you know somehow deep inside that what you have needed all this time to really push you to that next level is accountability. So do something about it. Leave a comment on this video. That's another sign of showing accountability. Just writing out something there. I really hope that you take action on this, and I hope this video was helpful. If it was, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.